Anyway, this is part number 3. In part number 2, I have explained that paganism is part of the Tagotic world, which is trying by the devil to find its way to human life and to be created as a dictating taghut, dictating spiritual center that drag people to a certain belief, and they just found themselves filled with it. And there are sometimes signs, unacceptable satanic dark signs. These pagans and this festival worldwide, yes, there is it. Sometimes it is higher, worse. Sometimes it's less bad in comparison to the other sort of Tagotic, which we can consider Tagotic worship, like worshipping the flag of your country. Someone would say, there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is the final messenger of Allah in a flag, so you don't want no, don't worship the flag, worship Allah. Worship what is represented. The flag of an Islamic Khilafah is not to be worshipped, it's just a sign, a figure. Like the crescent. The crescent, Mohamed PBUH never said put a crescent. He said either the house of worshipping that is assigned to be a house of submitting to God from A to Z, or the Tagotic Kufr house of worship. This is what God wants. This is what God explained. But Muslim, not even at the time of Bani Umayyad, at Al-Abbasiyin, they start putting a crescent on the house of worshipping Islam, just to distinguish outside the Arabian Peninsula and starting from the Holy Land and outside, so that people, when they walk, crescent, this is an Islamic house of worship. Cross, this is a so-called Christian cross house of worship. Jesus, whatever. Star, this dimensional satanic star, which got nothing to do with David. This is for those who call themselves Jews. This one lost their way, Ad-Dallin, and these people are bringing the wrath of God. Show them both respect. They are the people of book and themselfs. Everyone is fine. الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد. الناس سواسي. Equality, and I have explained why الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد people do not understand it. There is a lot of stories. Arabs before, if a slave of one of these Arabs, don't be angry with the Arabs. Damn. There was one in the center, I don't know, they are telling me, the center of this city, screaming, fuck Arab, fuck, I don't know what's the problem. Either maybe some Arab attacked him and insulted him, I don't know. Saying fuck, they told me. God, I'm not even near. Arabs, the tribes of Arabs, like even right now in other continents worldwide, okay, they are doing all sorts of crimes, unforgiven against humanity, against children, against women. The native Arab, they used to have their own slaves, regardless, Roman, Persian slave. There was a lot of Roman slave and Persian slave. Those who attacked the border of the Arabian Peninsula, sometimes anyway, some of them run away. Regardless, there are stories, I'm not here involved too. Or from Africa. And a slave sometimes go and attack a Persian, or fight with a Persian traveler, or a Roman, or whatever. And then people come and say, we want to kill these slaves. Oh, Sheikh of Arab, or oh, Arabic man. The Arabic man would say, fuck you. I'm sorry to use this term, first time. Fuck you, my slave is more important than you. My slave equal 1,000 Persian. My slave equal 1,000 Roman. And Allah, what He said, sending to peace Allah Azza wa Jal, all greatness to Him, the honor, founder and creator of existence, send Muhammad to say, no. الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد. In Arabic language, حكما عربية. If someone did a crime, he did a crime. The rule on the slave is a rule on a slave, and a rule on a free, rule on a free. Don't say he's a free, he's a slave. See that this doesn't work. This is Muhammad, peace be upon him. ولا ينطق عن الهوى. So I'm just explaining to you that this is to distinguish the house of worship. لا إكراه في الدين, no enforcement in religion, but just be careful before you wake up. So a country like China, you will find people, definitely they are minority, but because a lot of them, and I'm not going to talk about how the psychological of the Chinese or people in India, they worship people who call themselves Hindus or people who call themselves communists. They worship the Communist Party. They absolutely, from Stalin and others, is descended from Jews, they say. All Goans. Chinese, they worship their Communist Party. They worship the flag. They worship this. Where do you think after death they will be? But just think about it. When was this started? This flag? Does it have anything to do with God? They call it the ancient God, and there is a lot of manipulation and corruption that occurred. It is. I mean, I say this, and I look at the Arabian Peninsula, and I look at the Ishmaeli land, and I look at the Israelite, the real Israelis, the natives, all of them have accepted Islam. And I see the change in the Holy Land last century, and I see the change in the Ishmaeli land, and I see how dictatorship took its place within this worldwide system. It's a wild one, not worldwide, worldwide imposing system. How things become the way it is in Middle East, exactly like prophesied. Exactly, A to Z, 100%. How the Muslim nation, the people, the godly people, the Rabbaniyun are facing. And how it's not only the practices, it's not only the media. You open and you see some things like, for example, nude women. Or you deal with for example, someone who's tired. He's a result of something. There is sickness that took its place and path to the society, and he become a man. No longer a real man. I don't want to go deep in this because I'm going to start other objects. They want to say something, then I feel I'm obligated to add something. This is for me, my own conscience. No. It's about the aqeedah. It's about the aqeedah, the belief system. Believing in Allah. This term is the most, I understand, you're angry with it. Oh, how you're angry with the Quran. Oh, definitely. In China, of course. Now look what will be the result. In India, in the West, Allah, the term Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He announced that this is the appropriate term for Him to be recognized, the supreme name, Allah. Since long time, يعني نسبيا to a percent on this planet, on this area. There is other names here and there, but it's ancient. Israel, since that time, and Ishmael, and that time, thousands of years. And you can find it in the languages that have its own connection to the term God. But anyway, you can call him the owner of existence, the servant of the owner of existence. Yeah, it's accepted as a name. Mashi'atullah, the blessings of the creator of existence. And in English, this is a name. His name. Don't you? There is people who think, no, this is not his name. His real name, you cannot mention it in this dunya. His real name it cannot be announced by your tongue. You cannot. I mean, when we say name, we don't talk about a languagical term. No. The real when we go deep, the name cannot be approached except by the belief. And the name is represented. And I don't want to go to a philosopher, but all of this, anyway, it's in the Quran and in the Hadith. There is a hand for God. What do you mean by hand? Do we have a hand like our hand? No. His hand is represented to him the way it is, not the way. No, I don't want to go there. But the case is, it's affecting the belief and creating reactions and then coming here and there. And what is the result? Hellfire. The devil, for him to provide to humanity the absolute failure, and for them to accept it that it is the almost freedom and liberalism, he must, by the name of him, seduce humanity to provide an extreme representation of God. Look at the crusade. The Crusaders have represented Jesus. Jesus, they mean the Son of Virgin Mary. And people in Europe start spitting in his name. And until now, there is a group, smart, atheist, secular, democratic. There is people who are considering calling themselves Christian. If they listen to me, because they are, I'm gonna use, they are filled with information. We can consider him and consider them, males or females, and the intelligent level. They understand the experience not by daily and yearly experience, by a history, understanding and realizing history, and they believe in Jesus. Your death is for me. You died for me. God have made you die for me, for my sin. This is what they do. And they look at me, and if they are asked for their opinion, they will say the following: it's his freedom to say whatever he wants, freedom of speak. Let him say whatever he wants. Do you see? Why? Because they recognize. Now, I'm not talking about the atheists or secular or those people who call themselves Christian, or others among them who become Buddhist or Hindu, calling themselves Hindus. I'm not going to say those who accepted Islam. It's different. Don't worry. I mean, the royal family, I understand that there is some certain sort of prophecies about their end. Someone like Rasputin and Romanov. Anyway, whatever, fuck off. Anyway, so I'm trying to... Anyway, let's continue. Do you see the crusade? People, I'm not talking about those who attack the Muslim world and mean of the cross. No. What did create the crusade? The church talking about Jesus, fight this holy war, or kill these sorcerers, even in Europe. Kill those people. They are anti-Catholic, they are anti-Protestant, whatever, all of sort of this. They are anti this sort of practices of our church. Hartaqa, tajdif. How can you say it in English? I always forget. There is a word, hartaqa and tajdif. Oh, thank you. Am I philosopher? It's good. I'm walking, nice weather, so I'm just uploading videos. It's not guilt or something from visiting the church, no. What is the word? I was going to say something. دقيقة واحدة. I think I lost my way. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Oh, it's nice weather tonight. Why not walk additional 4 miles? It's good for my health. So no دقيقة واحدة إلا لهذا الطريق الظاهر. I'm not sure anyway. إن شاء الله. Let's accept the dialogue of so many Muslim scholars who provide hadith and sins and say that in Mecca there was a so-called Buddhist. At the same time, when China was fine, as a result to knowledge and things, because there was a statues for Buddhist and things in Mecca, and God took it out. Muhammad, peace be upon him, took it out. And Muhammad, peace be upon him, explained that no statues whatsoever in the Arabian Peninsula, and also in the Holy Land, except inside the house of worship. People who are calling themselves Christian, they want to bring the pig of person who crucified, fine, in their church, based on a certain rules in the Holy Land. You don't touch them, you don't question them. And others, Jews want to put their star and do whatever, don't bother them. Other cults, when Umar ibn al-Khattab came, and they said to him, oh, the second Khalifa after the death of Muhammad, come and pray in this church, because you are a man of wisdom and mercy and things. He said, if I prayed in your church, or priest or bishop, I'm sure that there will be some Muslim who are a little bit extreme that will change your church to a masjid, so I'm going to pray outside the church. And they made a masjid for Umar ibn al-Khattab in front of it, because he just entered and he said, no, let me pray outside. So because Muhammad explained to him, they explain how there is laqatati things. It's not satanic, and unfortunately those who call themselves Sufis, especially at the beginning, there is a misdealt with it. I'm not saying all. I mean, we're talking about 14th century. It is an unbelievable information, and people at that time, before 14th century, when the collapse, please don't argue, I can go deep with you and explain to you that I'm saying the truth. In China, those who call themselves Buddhists used to be flourish there, but with a lot of Buddhophilia, which created an environment in China where they easily rejected the teaching of the so-called Buddhist faith. Look how Satan, and the problem is that if you go in the East, it's I'm sorry to say this, it attacked their DNA. It attacked. I'm sorry. No. Please forgive me. No, it's wrong. It attacked their social DNA. You return back 3 centuries, you will find the society is dealing with an unbelievable huge number of people who are considered unwilling to have sex with women. And recently, with this operation, they have tits and things like that. The Chinese emperor used to have so many, because of this, the corruption in with the so-called Buddhist faith. People immediately took and accepted communism and spit on the so-called Buddhist, because there was an extreme representation of darkness by the so-called Buddhist, exactly like the so-called Christian. You go and look at the so-called Christian, so many among the 5 centuries before start saying this is darkness. We are not going to accept darkness. Hindus, if there was no colonization within the last 4th century by Gog and Magog, by the West, and if there was, and listen to this carefully, if there was no Islamic rulership in India, this is important, I'm saying it for the 2nd time, I said it maybe for 3 years or something. If there was no so-called if there was no Islamic rulership in India that created an atmosphere of an Islamic rulership and masses of so-called Hindus, and by this the monks of the so-called Hindus monks, there was lines for them. They cannot cross certain lines within their own society, because there is among their own society a lot who complained, okay, And with this, if there was no colonization, the so-called Hindu faith would be whipped. Something else will come. Communists would take place. Really. So Islam is behind protecting the so-called Hindu's faith. Wallahi al-Azim. And then the colonizing the area, came and manipulated and attacked by manipulation the Islamic bases. And now the so-called Hindus, I mean, if we wait for 1,000 years, so-called Hindus will be vanished by itself, without any, like it happened in China. People will reject it, not Islam. Satan knows this, so he creates these extreme reactions. And when he creates these extreme reactions, he tries his best, though it is nothing like Christ. I mean, look at Daesh. Look at Daesh. Yes, there is a lot of bad things. It's a normal reaction. But look what happened in medieval times in Europe. Reaction of what? Of crap. Daesh, reaction of persecuting the natives in Iraq and Syria who are Sunnis. The so-called Buddhists, why they went to that far, so that communists would took over the country within less than decades, very fast, like burning woods, and a very warm weather, using gas and things, because people had enough. Don't you ever dare talk about the Ishmaelian land this way. No, it's different. Oh, far different. With your extreme examples about those who reject Islam, you are rubbishing them as well. This is a very important point so that you would understand history. And by understanding history, you understand where is the path to God. And you cannot see that except by understanding the word of God. Don't you ever bring me Torah and Injil. This is crap in comparison to the fixed, clean explanation and the final revelation of God Almighty to humanity. Hey, easy, Tariq. Why you are focusing on those who call themselves, we should call a people of book? Because they are. The scriptures is protected, the most protected in comparison to what's among and in the hand of those who call themselves Buddhists and those who call themselves Hindus. Because the rubbish and the crap there is absolutely insane. Communists are different issue. If there was no Gog and Magog, East Turkestan, it would be an independent. Not only that, Islam would find its place in China. This is a fact. So this is how it is, the Tagout. As much as you see life, as much as you deal with bad things in your life, just do it before you die. Clean yourself from all sorts of Tagotic. I'm not talking about the behavior. I'm not talking about someone doing a certain sin. Though it is, as Mohamed, peace be upon him, explained, that it's like a drop of black, not black, drops in a clean, light, white. It has nothing to do with race, okay? Because there is some sort of poison that is white, and honey sometimes is black. Honey is good for health. It does not have nothing, so it's not because there is sensitivity about this. Black work, white work. Doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with the skin of human. End of the story. Talking about the story. The hadith is explaining is like a drops, the belief, on a white paper. It will affect your belief, but at the end there is aqidah. This is an absolute submission. If you die with understanding what you need to understand, to cross that line, to clean your soul, by the word, of course, by recognizing the following term: there is no God but Allah, and you cannot understand Allah except by Muhammad. If you die with this, eventually, at the end, you will be in heaven. You might immediately be in a paradise, in happiness, until you enter this universe of heaven. But sometimes you have a lot of sins, starting from the unjust. God can forgive if there is a good, huge belief. Someone, for example, is doing something to do unjust against his body. Listening to music, not harming other people, using, for example, any sort of alcohol, and he had kidney problems, heart, liver, or he walked that day and he fell, and he did unjust against himself. He is not. I'm choosing some certain thing. He always look into some nude pictures. He always jerk. He always lie about himself, but not affect others. He do not lie saying something and steal people. He come and say, oh, I did that, I did this, I saw that. It is never affecting them. God, even if he comes with a huge number of sins like this, but the belief itself is there. He's in heaven. Absolutely. But definitely God will choose. If God say that he grant him absolute protection from this sin, it will collapse immediately. Except unjust to other creatures, animals, كل كبد رطبة, from all sorts of animals, unjust, deal with it. Even ants, you don't burn them. You don't burn any creature. This is forbidden in Islam. And if you even you cut the head within less than a second, and very sharp knife. Don't show them the knives. Al-ajl only. Al-ajl, this is a young, but not a very, very small ajl, or a very, not in front of this creature among themselves. Until you go to humanity, to the human. You don't kill, you don't rape, you don't lie, you don't steal. Unjust, no. At the judgment day, you will pay a price. But your aqidah will take you to heaven. But where is the aqidah now? What's going to happen within decades to come? How many among this new generation recognize the point of aqidah? Tawheed and aqidah. How? Wallahi, it's dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. This is heaven or hellfire. Because if you don't have this tawheed and aqidah, wallahi, no matter you do, at the end, at the judgment day, heaven will not accept you. The path, the borders of heaven, the lines that you need to enter, no, you finish, no more. You're finished. You can't. ما في من يأتي بغير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه. Islam means Islam to Allah. I'm just explaining things that I can see. Oh, this is pagan in church. This is pagan. This festival, be careful, yes. The cross and things and this festival, it will do some, because at the end it's the religious and how you're dealing with it. Oh, and it's a big crime if you bring it to the Arabian Peninsula, not because those who practice so-called Christianity are evil. No, among them wonderful people. More nicer than Muslims. Oh, definitely, wallahi. There is, not all Muslims, of course, because among Muslims you will find a beautiful person, because the belief will make those who there will be a nice people, definitely, but I'm just saying that there is among these people who are called old women. You go, for example, to a Sikh temple, or a house of worship, or whatever. Old or an old man. I'm not talking about children. They are nice, lovely. People who call themselves Christian, want to help people, want to be atheists as well. There is wonderful people who are more wonderful than many of Muslims. Oh yeah, many, not all. Many, when I say many, few. Many, I don't mean the majority. But you will definitely find. And but no, in the Arabian Peninsula it's not allowed. In the Holy Land there must be some rules considering this not because it's a Yahudi Jewish land from the beginning. No, this is crap. You don't understand it. You need someone to fix you. We need to explain to you Quran verse by verse again. We need to explain to you the Injil and Torah. We need to explain to you everything. Because I'm a Jew, this is Jewish state. The Torah prophet. You are a Gohem. That's it. Gohem have nothing to do with Israelis, and you don't understand anything about the Odin faith. You are bringing the wrath of God. That's it. But it is allowed in the Holy Land to do this, not in the Arabian Peninsula. No. It is an absolute one faith rulership by the Arabic language there in the Arabian Peninsula. ما في one house of worship. So is it hard for you to obey God's instruction? And look at the maps of the world, just the Arabian Peninsula. You can't, because you deserve hellfire. That's it. Now this explains who's bad and who's good. I'm talking about other places, like in Europe. So many people are calling themselves Christian. Wonderful. And the Holy Land, the ancient places like church, if people are not going to change it, they're their own people, the people of it, do not want to make it a masjid, you have no right whatsoever to touch it. Ancient church, you don't touch it. Leave it for them. Let them put their cross and worship the pig of earth, Antichrist, whatever. خلاص people في book نصارى supportive to Ibrahim. ما كان إبراهيم لا نصراني ولا يهودي. The Quran explained that Ibrahim, peace be upon him, was not a Nasrani supporter of the Messiah, of Jew. He was Hanifi. Now I have explained the difference between Hanifi and Nasrani. But someone would say, what do you mean by Nasrani, Ibrahim? Nasrani is someone, because even before the Messiah, the Nasraniya found itself by people who are worshipping Allah by expecting the Messiah. You don't go deep in this. No, you don't. And when he came, the Nasraniya started showing itself, especially after Constantine, which the whole act of worship is about this Messiah. You understand me? I cannot be a Nasrani because my worship is not about the Messiah. I respect him as a final rank as a high rank messenger, and I understand the final messenger era until the Messiah return, and I understand that only God to be worshipped, and I am not Nasrani in any way. They also call themselves Christian. All their act of worship is about مناصرة المسيح في طريقة ضالة, giving a whole support to the Messiah by recognizing him and by practicing a worship that they associate him with it. This is Nasraniya, and its most nice representation. Not right now. Right now is fucked. This is Nasrani. These people have nothing to do with Nazratic. No, Nasriya. No, nothing to do. Nasriya it have its own reason of being called this name. So, the word of Tagotic is not a joke. Yes, this is a faith. This is a so-called Hindus or a so-called Buddhist. The devil is making an invest of making the so-called Buddhists leave their so-called Buddhist methods. Good Buddha, who is a messenger, it is manipulated. You cannot find what Buddha wants. You cannot find what good Buddha finds. It's corrupted in China. And it's the devil investment also with Gog and Magog. I mean, look at Russia and West and others. At the end, everyone is responsible for his deed. But there is accomplishers and there is people who are behind it. The Chinese and Hindus, the so-called Hindus, the devil invests there to make them start screaming Hindusem. They don't know nothing about Hindusem. See, this is a good park, but I never entered this park. I think it's gonna give me a shortcut. You see? But I am a coward. I'm always scared from, the light is turned off when I enter. Did you see? So they might be expecting me here. Oh. I'm not sure if it's a shortcut, so I'm going to continue walking. Yeah. I'll turn back. It's nice. No, seriously. If I'm sure I will walk, I think it's gonna. I don't know. Is it because it is the other path? It's there. It is there. Now I'm gonna continue to the street. So the devil invests in creating India the way it is. Hindu, they don't understand anything about the law of the universe. Hindu river, the small community, Krishna, Ram, these messengers, and other Vachar and others, and the Supreme God. It is corrupted, the practices, things. I don't want to go deep in that. I don't want to mention any names. Good messengers, they become God. Like Jesus becoming God. Buddhist, well, there is some sector among those who call themselves Buddhists who worship Buddha, but not all of them. The Buddhists are not worshippers of Buddha. They are follow, but there is among them who are worshippers. Do not play with the Tagotic. You understand what I mean? Peace be upon him, Muhammad always insist, always in the Quran explain, I am only a messenger. My grave will be at the Rawdatum Riyadh. There is a sort of blessings when it comes to the, I don't want to go heavily dimension thing, which means if you are there, you focus on God, you don't focus at the grave of Muhammad. This is the role of Aisha, the mother of believer. This is how you need to understand the faith. It's an investment that created this world which we are dealing with. An investment of the devil on his slave, those who accepted his way. Through the history, through the centuries, most extreme representation of Buddha made people in China accept communists. Most representation to a certain level, most extreme representation of Jesus, and people made people reject the way of the so-called Christian faith, like the so-called Buddhists, to a certain only level in Europe, so that the cross would rise in a certain era before the Messiah, Jesus, the Son of Virgin Mary, would come and destroy it, and destroy the pig of earth. And you cannot do nothing about it. The belief of these people, with due my great respect, it's not a play, it's not a game, it's not a joke, either they are using drugs or not. And how it's affecting the political system. Look at George Bush, crusade. Do you see this? Look at those who call themselves Hindus, for example. There will be no jizya anyway. Not now. It will need. It's at the. If we give it the minimum time based on the prophecies of God, the Messiah, Son of Virgin Mary, will not be here before 2 centuries. Never. It can't. I'll give it 1.5 century. Insert. If we push, it cannot be. Absolutely cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be, because there is certain things concerning ocean, concerning some place, I don't know, anyway, and nations. But why you want him to return back? Wallahi, if this is a crazy thing, you shouldn't. You will meet him in paradise. You will be there if you deserve. There is a lot of people who wouldn't see God, absolutely see God the way they seeing God is. There is people who will see him on a daily basis. The day is a very long day. Some people will be very close to him. Some people will see him in it's like a galaxy. But of course you'll have your own body, a physical law. People will see the messengers of God and people will not, because it's level. For someone like me, I would be more than happy to be in heaven from now to happiness after death until there. I won't ask. Of course, I should وتنافس, ask for more. تنافس, which means competition with yourself. No, I think you're gonna be very lucky being there in heaven. 1 out of 100 will be in heaven. 99 is in hellfire. I need to be with hellfire to be liberated from the darkest taghut. The real liberation and freedom is by the submission. So this is the personal issue of my personal case, with an alignment of understanding the Ishmaelian Bibarat, the Ishmaelian land, with an alignment of understanding Islam. It is very terrible and very saddening what's happening in what's called Gulf State right now. All what happened while we have these resources and what's happening in the Islamic world. And I wish this wonderful friend of mine and Allah to give him thabat, protection of his belief. I mean, that guy who had an argument with me, you will understand this by seeing the first and second video. Good evening, hi. Anyway, so and may Allah inshallah show him happiness and make it less, little bit less the way he is absolutely into a great not acceptable in some aspect of it support to his country flag and to his country political system on the account of helping, on the account of the unity of the ummah, the nation. He's a good person, very wonderful person, non-violent, loving person. But he is from this type of people who would fight, would take, but not him, but he is, understand me, fight and use some satura and things. It's happened in football matches, but he's fine. I'm just saying. And I also wish this wonderful friend of mine who's a so-called Christian, this church, to live a blessed life until he die. When I say God, may Allah God bless him, I mean may Allah guide him hidayah and protect him from the reactions within his society if he accepted hidayah. It is a very complicated topic, but the taghut is not a joke. You might consider me a joke. You might consider me a joke. No, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But just don't tell me, don't bother me face to face, because I might react in an unacceptable way. Don't put any fantasy or work giving me collapsing so that I wouldn't react. Just fuck off when you meet me. Don't show me accept respect, and I'll do my best to show you respect. You fucking son of a bitches. I don't mean you. I mean bad people. I'm saying fucking fuckers. I don't mean you. What is this? This is sweet, haram ya akhi, forbidden. I'll push it there. Maybe some bird will eat it, or a small creature. Alhamdulillah. We are blessed with a lot of food. Alhamdulillah. What can I say? So, you can consider me a joke, no problem. Consider me, fuck off and don't bother me face to face. Unless if you're a good friend of me. Pervert. I mean, I'm sorry. But this subject is not, it's not a joke. Taghut. Taghut. Come on, repeat out of me. Taghut. Taghut. Look at this baby looking at me. There's young children looking at me. Until now they're looking. Why? Why only me? Is it because I'm ugly? I can't show it to you. Meow. 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 Still looking at me. Anyway. You shouldn't let them in the door of the station this way. Because some people are drunk. Is it? What's night? It's Tuesday, is it? But this is the entrance, not there. Okay, fine. But still, shouldn't walk in the gate itself. Well, they are not in the middle of it, but they shouldn't. It's taking them, yeah, but he shouldn't. It was a little bit late. Look at this guy, he's driving fast, look. Look. May Allah protect children, Allah yahmal atfal. Drive slow, man. I think I lost my bath. Oh, yeah. Because I just explained to people the truth. And I lose my bath. I need to cross to make sure. Check the maps.